morning. Anusha and Naveen are here. Good morning. Good morning, both of you. Good morning, Tamini. Okay. So already, why the students are not joining in? Hanji, wo I'm doing. Why are the students not joining in? Like, why friends are not offline? But okay. Yeah. Okay. So, shall we start? या आपने already message drop हो गया अनुषा and Naveen? Is everyone aware of that the class has started? हाँ जी एक बार कर दो बिकॉज दो स्टूडेंट हैं नहीं तो फिर हम खुद शुरू करते हैं ओके तो चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं ठीक है आपका हुआ अनुषा डिड यू इम्प्लीमेंट एंड नवीन एज वेल I tried mine dataset below grade 4 there are only 10 so I used below grade 5 63 and so on okay हाँ जी ठीक है अभी के लिए ठीक है so हम will do the resampling algorithms तो उससे will the class imbalance problem will be solved okay नवीन आपने किया ओके कल की क्लास मिस हो गई आपकी ऑल्दो कल ओके ट्राई ऑन टू मॉडल्स पार्ट ठीक है कल की क्लास में हमने नवीन रैंडम फॉरेस्ट का कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ा था तो उसको एक बार देख लेना आप जब हमारी वीडियोस आए यहाँ पे यूट्यूब पे जस्ट देख लेना इम्पोर्टेंट है वो कॉन्सेप्ट तो इसमें अ, तो मैं यहाँ दिखा देती हूँ व्हाट इज इनटू दिस नोटबुक and then eventually I will share it with you. ठीक है? So that अगर if you have any queries and questions then ask me. I need to execute all of them. Okay, it's happening. Hmm. So I've taken the threshold as 4 and इसके बाद let us see what the count is. I know it will be less. Comparatively very less. बहुत ज़्यादा ही खराब हो गया है. Let me change the threshold to 5. We covered concepts of random forest and decision tree, but didn't do on. हाँ जी, we didn't do anything onto data set. So data set पे आप hands on कर रहे तो कर लो. Now it's still better. Still better. जब हम 5 को विंडो में कंसिडर कर रहे हैं फॉर द पुअर कैटेगरी, स्टिल बेटर. ठीक है. ओके, तो जस्ट आउट ऑफ ईडीए मॉडल. ओके, so this is a regular pie chart जिसमें you get to know what is the value count of both of your good and poor category. ठीक है. Then I need to execute it. Can it be zoomed a little bit? हाँ जी, बिल्कुल. और बेटर अनुषा. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे दिस इज द इंडिविजुअल प्लॉट फॉर योर क्वालिटी कॉलम. दिस इज द इंडिविजुअल प्लॉट फॉर योर grade column. So I've given the column name as grade, जिसमें I've applied the lambda function for 5 and above as good and for 5 and below as poor category. So obviously हमारा values count से भी the good categories are more, but still no there is imbalance but not that much. वहाँ पे जब initially हमने 4 का लिया it was 1200 with respect to that. Bad was और poor was 63. तो huge imbalance. तो अभी के लिए हमने बस threshold change किया तो we are on to the almost equivalent scale. So this is a plot for quality column. Then this is a distribution plot जिसमें you get to know आपका quality का distribution क्या है. So into our data set, major of my data lies into this range. So majorly quality from 5 to 6 हमारे, and we have 600 instances. What is the length of this data set, by the way? What is the shape of this data? So if I say um, 1200 instances, okay. 1359 and 13 columns. So यहाँ पे हमारे पास 600 instances, all approx 600, not exactly 600, approximately 600 instances belong to my quality having value 5 and 6. So we have duplicated data. Okay, I haven't checked that duplicated data. No, it's not there as per this. You got 240. How come? Uh, Maybe change of this is आपने equal to 5 लिया है या just less than 5, maybe because of this, because एक भी value change होने से your record gets. So have you put up the same condition, Anusha? Let me also just verify with that. Less than equal to or just as less than 5? Okay, you haven't created the column. Yeah, maybe. Let's say if I exclude the data column, so if I say data.ilog and I just don't want to include the last column. Still, it does not. Okay, I don't know. But it should be the same. Data तो हमारा same ही है. Data में तो हमने कोई change ही नहीं किया. Okay. Oh yes, it was there. मैंने initially I've dropped Anusha. When I've imported the data frame, I've already deleted them. You see, it's there 240. Yeah, it was there. I've dropped them. Okay, so this is the distribution of your quality column. तो आपकी wine values, the quality for wine is around, range of 5 to 6 majorly, and you have good amount of instances for those particular two categories. This is again a simple distribution plot. यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया है? यहाँ पे histogram and we have the count. So although representing the same thing but दूसरे तरीके से. This is histogram, this is distribution. Along with that हमारे पास KDE है. Okay. And then we have a bar plot जिसमें I want to have analysis of quality with respect to chlorides. So they are inversely proportional. अगर मेरी quality increase होती है, the chlorides value get decreased. So if chlorides are more into the more there, if chlorides are more, then your alcohol quality or wine quality is getting lower. Same thing क्योंकि grade है is derived from the quality column. तो यहाँ पे ज्यादा difference नहीं visible क्योंकि सिर्फ दो bucket बना दी. So although when it was a numerical content, quality regular values, so we have a negative impact of chlorides with quality. Similarly, आपका this is for what? This is the complete. इसमें matplotlib use किया है. I've taken all the uh, columns. All columns have been taken up. It will take some time. Because what are we doing here? We are taking all the columns from data, उनकी values ली है, and using the plt.subplot. हमने पढ़ा था ना plt.subplot एक backend में canvas बनाता है, then 4 columns, 3 rows, and this comes out to be your index number. So this is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4. Because we are having 12 features, data.ilog columns, हमारे total कितने features थे? 13. So when I'm finding this length, so I'm excluding the last grade column. So 12 columns आ गए. So 4 rows, 3 column, and this I plus 1 is representing कि कहाँ पे I want to make this plot. So this is 0, 0 plot. This is first plot. This is second plot. Oh, sorry, not 0. This is first plot. Are we something making? No, this is not pair plot, Anusha. This is your distribution plot. लेकिन हमने यहाँ पे individual एक कोड से ही हमने individual जो columns है हमारे fixed acidity, volatile acidity एक कोड से ही multiple सभी continuous values को plot कर दिया. No, this is not KDE. This is distribution plot. Distribution में आपका KDE plot साथ में आ जाता है. If you set it false, then it will not come. हाँ जी. तो हम जो वन ऑन वन करते हैं तो इससे सब प्लॉट हैव बीन यूज्ड 4/3 एंड देन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कौन सा कॉलम जनरेट हुआ कलर केडी ट्रू सेट किया एंड लेबल व्हाट आई वांट द लेबल सो लेबल मुझे क्या चाहिए कॉलम का नेम सो दैट इज व्हाई मुझे हर एक कॉलम की रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिल गई है सो वन सी इफ यू हैव यू डन आउटलायर ट्रीटमेंट अंशुल आपने किया है so your plots I'm sharing this code आपके plots में see there is skewness into these plots you see यहाँ पे data आपका lie कर रहा है your data is lying onto these values also so it will not be there क्योंकि into my data I'm having outliers I have not treated them so when you plot it into your graph you will not have these uh, values of such into such range तो cross check do you have such kind of values ये जो values हैं यहाँ पे which is bringing skewness or data is much more aligned toward these values ज़्यादा instances नहीं है are you also getting these values Anusha ये जो ये वाली values हैं these values even after doing the ultra treatment part. On chlorides and residual. Yeah, little will be reduced. We जो इतना, what is the range of, let's say if talking about chlorides, what is the range you have? आपका minimum and maximum value, okay, although this is very less. So my maximum value is around 0.6. And similarly for residual sugar, my maximum value is around 16 and minimum is around 1. So what is your range in case of residual sugar and chlorides? Anshul, how about you? आपने किया? And okay, Naveen, तो ये is just okay. Chloride 0.4 and 2.12.
0.12.
0.12 till this range, almost till this range only. So ये आपकी जो
Yes.
value है ये चली गई है, yes. Acid and into residual sugar also
1.0 to 4.0.
4.0 till this value, yeah. तो you see ये skewness भी चली गई है and this was because of those outliers, तो ये भी is gone. Okay. Okay, so ये है distribution plot for every continuous column in one single code. ठीक है, values count already. So this is a regular count plot. We have already seen count plot में almost imbalance नहीं है ज़्यादा. Now this is group by of grade with respect to alcohol total sulfur dioxide. So if my grade and इसमें मैंने minimum value लिया है. So different evaluation matrices ले सकते हैं यहाँ पे minimum, maximum या फिर aggregate function करके हम ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, right? तो it is telling me that if quality is good then आपका alcohol का minimum value was 8.4. Although यहाँ पे दोनों में it is giving me the same value for alcohol. Let me change the, let's say if I'm saying sum. Okay, different है. Minimum दोनों में एक value आया. Not much difference, but this is 9.92 round off करेंगे तो it will be, just one difference in here, not much. And maximum 14 and 14.9. So इस data में it is as per this, but yeah, group by also helps you individually categorize करने में and then it will give you the respective value. And using aggregation आप multiple values भी ले सकते हो. This is minimum, this is all for alcohol, this left column is all for alcohol, and this right one is all for total sulfur dioxide. So maybe if I do it on to quality, I will get a different result. Let me do it on to quality. Just a minute, let me have the column name. Yeah, now it is different. Although for 5 above, sub में alcohol content minimum maximum value is 14. For 3 it was 11. For 4 it is 13.1. So gotten a different values जब हमने quality wise alcohol का and total sulfur dioxide का value check किया. It will happen the same for chlorides as well क्योंकि वो negatively impact कर रहे हैं chlorides. All the decimal values. So this is maximum. या सो दिस इज गिविंग मी ऑल द थ्री, तो वन बाय वन क्लिकिंग की जरूरत नहीं है. सो या minimum value is different. In describe, it gives an individual column. Describe में अनुषा, it will give जो आपके न्यूमेरिकल कॉलम है ना, उनका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन दे देगा. इट विल गिव इंफॉर्मेशन की जो फिक्स एसिडिटी है उसमें इंडिविजुअली. अब हमारा किसके बेसिस पे इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है इसने, ऑन टू इंडिविजुअल कैटेगरीज. अब ये जो डिस्क्राइब में इसने दिया है दैट इज टोटल इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ कौन सी कैटेगरी थी. ऑल्दो यहाँ पे ये पूरा मेरा देयर इज फिक्स्ड एसिडिटी, दिस इज द मीन वैल्यू फॉर एंटायर कॉलम एंड दिस इज द मिनिमम वैल्यू फॉर एंटायर 4.6. अगर टोटल सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड की बात करें, मिनिमम वैल्यू इज 6 यहाँ पे, and this 6 was belonging to which one, to category 5 and 6. Yes, तो वहां पे although we got to know what is the minimum value of sulfur dioxide, जहाँ पे we are able to see it, but we do not know this value belongs to which category. तो हमने जब group by किया, we got to know कि these values belong to 5 and 6. तो with respect to target, हमारा data cluster बन के और groups बन के it has been displayed to us. Okay, and तो आपका ये वैल्यूज बिकॉज आपने आउटरायर ट्रीटमेंट किया है, योर स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन एंड दीज रेंजेस विल आल्सो बी डिफरेंट फॉर यू, नॉट सेम एज माइन. या सो दिस इज फॉर अल्कोहल इन एंड ऑल दीज थ्री कॉलम्स. बस यहाँ पे व्हाट आई हैव यूज्ड, आई हैव डन अ प्लॉट इंस्टेड ऑफ दो ग्रुप बाय वैल्यूज, प्लॉटिंग इज डन हियर. सी जब आप इस डेटा फ्रेम के बारे में व्हेन यू रीड ऑनलाइन, you will find out this fixed acidity, this एक second. Yeah, this fixed acidity is getting or is directly referred to citric acidity plus volatile acidity. So this is equivalent to, not almost same, but fixed acidity को इन दोनों के terms में refer किया गया है. So into this scenario, if this is assuming this is happening, and let's say this is giving me, this is something referring to sulfur dioxide, another कोई मेरे पास feature है या नहीं है, but they both are referring to one, they're highly related to each other, or maybe no they're referring to one single thing. तो उस केस में हम क्या करेंगे, यूजिंग द फीचर इंजीनियरिंग कॉन्सेप्ट, हम बाकी चीजें हटा देंगे. राइट जैसे हमने ईडीए में डिस्कस किया था ना अनुषा एंड नवीन एंड अंशुल. या तो उस केस में ना यू विल कम अप विद न्यू फीचर्स, यू विल सी कि क्या क्या चीजें इसमें, ऑल्दो इसमें देयर इज नॉट मच इनटू, लेकिन जैसे कैब्स वाले में हमने डिस्कस किया था द टाइम फीचर, हम अलग से विल डू द डिस्क्रिप्शन एंड एवरीथिंग. सो वो चीज इज डन यूजिंग फीचर इंजीनियरिंग, तो वो इसमें भी पॉसिबल है. बट उसके लिए यू शुड नो, वो पता होना चाहिए व्हाट थिंग्स आर, हाउ थिंग्स आर गेटिंग रिलेटेड टू द टारगेट कॉलम. Yeah, but they are highly correlated. You had the good correlation. Okay. Yeah, इसमें there is a good amount of correlation between this volatile acidity and fixed acidity, plus citric acidity and fixed acidity. So these are with respect to your alcohol content. So इसके according, when the alcohol value is increasing, your quality is also increasing. Although हमारे पास ज़्यादा instances नहीं है इस data set के 3 and 4 के, but as for whatever is given into this one, they are if they are directly proportional. अगर alcohol content increase, your quality is also increasing. This is a simple pair plot. Pair plots at times when you have good amount of columns, hard to interpret, because too much of information in one single graph, and specifically जब features ज़्यादा होते हैं, yeah, very small, it will take time. Okay. So similarly हम we do this bivariate analysis. दिस इज अ मल्टीवेरिएट एनालिसिस विद मल्टीपल कॉलम्स विद ईच अदर. यहाँ पे बाइवेरिएट. You have calculated the VIF and deleted one. Is that correct approach for correlation? VIF, what does VIF tell, Anusha? VIF क्या बताता है? Multicollinearity. It tells multicollinearity. So ideally, yeah, it gives you an analysis of multicollinearity कि how two columns are related to each other. जैसे for example talking about अभी हमने EDA में जब कैब राइड में डिस्कस किया था, तो हमारे पास क्या था, डेट कॉलम, एंड उसी के रिस्पेक्ट में फ्रॉम दैट डेट हमने टाइम को डिराइव किया, मंथ को डिराइव किया, डे को डिराइव किया, और मे बी वीक डे ऑफ वीक को डिराइव किया था, राइट. सो these columns are derived from this particular column. तो in that kind of scenario we do not go for all the columns, तो हम ड्रॉप करेंगे. तो VIF स्कोर से हम मल्टीकोलिनियरिटी चेक करते हैं कि are two columns highly related to each other. So we do not, and it's not into specifically ये एक requirement नहीं है. It is only an assumption in linear regression, but yeah, we should not give such kind of data जहाँ पे data are highly related to each other, कि अगर मैं एक change कर रही हूँ, the data is getting changed into other also. So into such kind of scenarios you should take only few features जो relevant है, and in इसमें से you will only go for one, either date or all of them. तो ideally VIF score ज़्यादा, if you feel, let me stop the execution for this. So if two columns are highly collinear or correlated to each other, and see अब जैसे for example आप यहाँ पे बात करेंगे, if given जैसे we know that they are related to each other, ठीक है, in that case it is fine. तो इसको ड्रॉप कर देंगे, इसको ड्रॉप कर देंगे, and we'll go for this one. But assuming in scenario कि जहाँ पे highly related भी हैं with each other, but not directly proportional, या फिर but they both are important scenarios, तो उस केस में we will not drop them. तो वो आपने फीचर को देख के एनालाइज करना पड़ेगा कि शुड वी ड्रॉप द फीचर और शुड वी नॉट ड्रॉप द फीचर. इट्स नॉट जस्ट ओनली योर VIF स्कोर. तो यू हैव टू हैव दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग आल्सो अलोंग विद दैट. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल है, अगर हम यहाँ पे सैलरी की प्रोडिक्शन करते हैं, तो सैलरी के लिए ईयर्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस एंड एजुकेशन एंड मे बी लास्ट profile, n number of things matter. So last profile will be highly relevant to or highly related to years of experience, or maybe जो last salary थी, last CTC, they are almost related to each other. लेकिन इसमें हम क्यों नहीं ड्रॉप करेंगे, क्योंकि इसका अपना एक स्टैंडअलोन इम्पोर्टेंस है, इसका अपना एक स्टैंडअलोन इम्पोर्टेंस है. We cannot derive years of experience से, we cannot derive education. Last profile, last salary cannot be directly taken from the last profile. तो ऑल्दो दे आर रिलेटेड, इनका कोरिलेशन बहुत ज्यादा मिलेगा, क्योंकि प्रोफाइल से योर सैलरी इज इम्पैक्टेड, एजुकेशन से योर सैलरी इज इम्पैक्ट, और मे बी कॉलेज से आपका इम्पैक्ट होता है. बट क्योंकि हम एक दूसरे से इनको डिराइव नहीं कर सकते, तो इनको हम ड्रॉप नहीं करेंगे. तो सिर्फ ड्रॉप वहां पे करना है जहाँ पे कॉलम्स आर डिराइवेबल फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ठीक है. तो अज्यूमिंग अगर मेरे पास यहाँ पे जो ये वॉलेटाइल वाला कॉलम है, अज्यूमिंग फिक्स्ड वॉलेटाइल कैन बी डिराइव्ड, अगर इफ आई एम एडिंग वॉलेटाइल एसिडिटी प्लस सिट्रिक, तो इस केस में आई कैन ड्रॉप. हाँ जी, यस. अगर वही ना कि इफ अगर इनको ऐड करके आई एम गेटिंग ऑलमोस्ट सेम थिंग, तो आई विल ड्रॉप देम. आई विल ड्रॉप देम इन दैट केस. नो, इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी, क्योंकि जैसे अभी मैंने एग्जांपल दिया, into that scenario, if you drop salary, if you drop last experience, last profile, तो although they are related to, क्योंकि डेटा सेट है, रिलेटेड होगा आपस में, there will not be any data जो आपस में आपका लिंक ही नहीं करेगा. अगर हम सेल्स की भी बात भी करते हैं, तो सीजन से आपका सेल इम्पैक्ट होता है, मंथ से आपका सेल इम्पैक्ट होता है, रिसेशन है या क्या है उससे भी आप, सो दे विल बी ऑलवेज अ रिलेशनशिप इनटू द डेटा. लेकिन अगर कुछ ऐसे डायरेक्ट मिलता है, देन वी डू नॉट गो फॉर देम. उस केस में विल गो फॉर ईदर बोथ ऑफ देम और इधर जस्ट सिंगल दिस वन, जहाँ पे डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप है, डिराइव कर सकते हैं। जहाँ पे नहीं डिराइव कर सकते वहां पे विल टेक ऑल। ओके, so they sulfates are all increasing similar to as of alcohol। तो ऑलमोस्ट यहाँ पे 12 है, यहाँ पे 0.8 है, स्केल इज डिफरेंट, बट या sulfates and alcohol content have a positive relationship with quality column। अगर वो increase होते हैं then the quality also increases। So and again this is joint plot, I will not be doing this one, but joint plot I will be doing, pair plot I will not be doing because it takes good amount of time। Although this does not give me much of the information part, univariate इसमें univariate analysis we have already seen। जो ये bivariate वाला part है, it is not giving me much relevant information। So it's telling me, yeah, इससे ज़्यादा information, क्योंकि आपके instances 5 and 6, it is telling me we have much instances into this range, and chlorides की आपकी range lies for from 0.1 to 0.6 or 6.5। तो almost सभी उसी range में lie कर रहे हैं apart from few। This is not much informative। Okay, so into this one ज़्यादा इसमें है नहीं, इसमें this was all finding out relationship among the features, univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis। ये आपका pair plot से हो जाएगा। univariate जहाँ पे आप single feature को analyze कर रहे हैं, bivariate जहाँ पे dual features को, दो feature को, when more than them then multivariate analysis। ठीक है। So what was the result जब आप when you have done normalization and performed um, the production part, Anusha and Saurabh and Anshul, आपका रिजल्ट क्या आया? Recall one in logistic regression।
Precision 97 I got, and recall 1 F1 score 98, and
Okay.
accuracy is 97.
When taking 5 as a threshold for grade?
No, actually I have to run it again. 1 second.
$72, okay। F1 score of 73, 2 classes only taken into consideration, okay। This could be also something LM plot, ऐसे facet grid होता है SNS में, that is all, वो उसमें भी you can get information from rows and column। So when the grade was poor, density and volatile acidity, although as per this it is not giving much of the information, but let's say if I want to have something for uh, although not much sort of. Let me just take another column into which we can find out something relevant. Almost into the same range. And if I, instead of grade, let me make quality, then maybe because they are now almost same into number, now it might give me different answer. Yeah, all the graph came out to be very less. Let me share this code. Make this graph into your notebooks. So here, uh, distribution with respect to every quality category. When your quality was 3, so distribution of your total sulfur dioxide and volatile acidity. So, and see distribution of total sulfur dioxide is increasing. Although volatile acidity is into the same range, it's always into the range of 0. Let's say majorly 0.5 to 1. It is always into the same range. But yeah, this sulfur dioxide content is increasing when wine quality is increasing. यहाँ पे last में आपके instances कम है. Here also, but yeah, इसमें your sulfur dioxide values are less comparatively. Content actually see, okay, इसमें do you think इसमें values तो same है? You see into this one? जब sulfur dioxide की value from 0 to what? Let's assuming these are my outliers, 0 to 50, 0 to 50, 0 to 50, 0 to 50, ऑलमोस्ट सेम है सब में, लेकिन डिफरेंस कहाँ आ गया? डेटा पॉइंट्स का, क्योंकि यहाँ पे यस डेटा ऑलमोस्ट सबकी रेंज सेम है टोटल सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड में. इट्स नॉट गेटिंग चेंज मच, ज्यादा चेंज नहीं है. दीज आर आउटलायर्स. लेकिन डिफरेंस यहाँ पे है ये आपका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. आपके ज्यादा डेटा पॉइंट्स इस कैटेगरी में बिलोंग करते हैं. यहाँ पे गिनती की डेटा पॉइंट से वी कैन काउंट देम. Yeah, spread is more, your data points are more, इसलिए this graph is much more thicker. And यहाँ पे we just have, we could count them onto numbers. Although this is around 1 and this is around, so very, very few data points happening onto quality number 3. या 5 and 6 are more, तभी यहाँ पे हमारे ग्राफ में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी ज्यादा है. एंड ऐसे ही क्वालिटी 8 में भी वी कैन काउंट द वैल्यूज, वो भी उसी रेंज में लाई कर रहे हैं. सो वी कैन इवेंचुअली काउंट देम, कम है. बट या when you do it onto big data, जैसे these they will help you, जो मैंने data sets आपसे share किए हैं, when you want to perform AD onto them, because they are much more realistic data compared to the wine data. उसमें you will have everything, so these graphs will help you out. Although I do not need to, there are outliers. We have already treated outliers into them. So these are different functions. अलग अलग तरीके से आपका आउटलायर ट्रीटमेंट किया गया. दिस इज वन ऑफ द वे वेयर वी हैव यूज्ड क्लिपिंग फंक्शन. क्लिपिंग फंक्शन में क्या होता है? What does this clip will do? Let's say, it will only consider, for example, यहाँ पे I want to have the outright treatment part. तो मेरा what values are allowed? I want to have values between the IQR range, right? Values lower than lower fence and values lower than upper fence and more than the lower fence. इन्हीं के बेसिस से मुझे चाहिए, तो मैंने यहाँ पे क्लिप फंक्शन कॉल किया है. आई एम अप्लाइंग ऑन टू, व्हाट इज आई हियर, मेरा कॉलम है, आई एम कॉलिंग द कॉलम नेम एंड आई एम अप्लाइंग क्लिप फंक्शन एंड आई एम सेइंग कि लोअर बाउंड शुड बी दिस वन, अपर बाउंड शुड बी दिस वन. तो ये इसने क्या किया, लेट्स से इफ आई एम सेइंग डॉट क्लिप, व्हाट दिस विल डू, so I'm saying dot clip and I'm saying 10 से लेके let's say 15 or let's say maybe 95 or 98. So what is 10 here? The minimum value allowed into my column, and what is 98 here? The maximum value allowed. तो clip function क्या करेगा, अगर आपकी वैल्यू कोई 198 है और any value if you have 9 और 9.5 तो उन सबको हटा देगा. तो यहाँ पे this will help you to remove your outliers, not treat them. Lambda function से भी कर सकते हो, लेकिन we have a predefined function from pandas wherein you will call this function and you will up specify करो कि I want lowest value lower fence जितनी होनी चाहिए, maximum value कितनी होनी चाहिए upper fence के equivalent, and only choose those values by saying in place true. So only consider values which lie into this range. So this is for outlier removal. Agar if you don't want to treat them, you can just use lambda function or you can use a clip function with respect to every feature. अब यहाँ पे one by one column pick होगा, उनकी IQR ranges define होगी, lower fence upper fence define होगा, and then with respect to that column I'm clipping the values. ठीक है? So this is one of the way into which you will remove outliers. Got this point? Do we have to separate object category in data frame and use clip? Yes, because Anusha, categorical data पे you need to do this condition first. Although not into this क्योंकि यहाँ पे object नहीं है, लेकिन अगर कोई data column object का है और maybe 0 1 है, right? 0 1 है, into that case ideally you should specify like this. Maybe if it is into dummy also, then still data type will be integer. तो integer में although categorical लेकिन outlier treat नहीं होने चाहिए, and it will do onto that part also. So specify the column names or be specific using lock ilock function कि what is getting into the outlier column part function. Okay. Okay, moving on. I'll share this after the class. So अलग से don't type in. This is the regular one using apply lambda. So within a function you can define this function, and within the function you can call lambda. तो one on one की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. If this is for treatment, this will treat your outliers. This will remove the outliers. This will treat the outliers. So multiple ways दिखाए गए हैं यहाँ पे. This is lambda function, and ये तो plotting है. This is also, just a minute. This is a regular plot. If you want to plot the values, although I don't need this one. And also you can use np.where. So this is the third approach where you can use np.where. So जब आप np.where use करते हो, what is the functionality of np.where? What it will do? np.where में सबसे पहली value क्या होती है? You give the condition कि I'm specifying this is my condition number 1. The value, if the value is more than uppercase outlier, so what this will happen, तो हमारी value, this is a new value which will come in the if condition. So if the value is more than 1, if this condition is true, So this will be replaced. We will get this new value. If the condition is false, so the column values will be as it is, right? Similarly, यहाँ पे आपने दो करना पड़ेगा. जैसे lambda में if else था, तो one treatment for upper cap outliers and this one for the lower cap outliers. If the value is lower, if value is less than the lower fence, जो हमने यहाँ calculate किया है, if this condition is true, so it should be replaced by the lower value. Otherwise, जो as it is value है, that will be into the my data frame. And then this is specifically we are looking for density क्योंकि density आपका categorical column है यहाँ पे. No, 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 no. It's not. It's not categorical. Just a minute. Okay. So np dot where से भी you can do the treatment part like this or like this. It's your call totally. And then simple lambda function. You all are aware of lambda function. So three ways to do. np dot where से treat कर सकते हो. Lambda function से treat कर सकते हो. And by using clip function, say you can treat your outliers and get rid of them. ठीक है? Just a minute. Yeah, there are lower cap outliers. Yeah, it's not categorical. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So you don't need this also. It's already there. I'm just cleaning it because there are some extra things. Although we'll not be using regression here, but in case if you are asked to apply regression by using random forest, you can do it, right? Although this does not make any sense to put regression algorithm here, but I'm just showing that if you want to put, how will you do it? So what your column will be, you will get the continuous column as your target. So although it should not be done, but if you want to, you just have to change the column name. And in that case, you have to do a different train test split. And then you just have to use random forest regressor in case you want to find out the optimal answer for regression. Okay. For regression, yeah, quality will be your target because although here this is not a regression problem. This is not a regression problem. I'm just showing that if you want to solve a regression problem, then how will you do it? So whatever is your category target column, that will come out to be your data because they both are derived from each other. So we'll be taking only one at a time, either quality or grade. Okay. So here I'm solving the classification problem. I'll not be doing the regression split. So this is for classification. So these are my X-train data. I'm not selecting specific columns. I'm taking everything in here. So you can take the correlation graph and visualize. See, I'm not taking good and poor also. I'm not a dummy encoded them. So it will be still accepted. It will not create any problem that why is it into categorical form, why not dummy? Because for target, it will accept. For target, it will not create any problem. Okay. But yeah, in case if I wanted to have a correlation plot, let's say if I want to have, uh, let me show here. This was the code. Then I will not get grade column because that is dummy value now. You see, the end value is only the quality one. I don't have the grade column because onto my grade I'm having good and poor. It is categorical, so it has not given me the answers. Got that point? So in that scenario, you would need dummy variables to be convert or target. If it is into categorical, you need to convert it to dummy. Otherwise, I'll go onto the algorithm part. Algorithm is completely fine accepting these values also. So I'll show you how we'll feed these values and still it will not create any problem. Okay, so I'm doing the necessary imports in here. Okay, now coming on to, let me show you the random forest parameters, which are important. So every algorithm has a set of parameters and not all are important, but yeah, we tweak few of them. So n estimator, let me share this link also with all of you so that you can always cross check. Okay, n estimator represents the number of trees. So what are these trees referring to? Decision trees, correct. Yes. Okay, and this criteria you see, we have studied that how do we choose Gini and entropy. You just have to call this parameter name and just specify Gini or entropy. What is by default? Gini is by default. Okay, and we have already studied how they are calculated. We have already known what is your n number of estimators. For now, number of estimator by default is 100. So every algorithm has a by default number. Even if you just simply call random forest classifier, you do not specify any parameter, it will execute these by default parameter. You see, for every parameter, there is a default value. So it will take and execute by this default value. Let's say for n estimator, I'm specifying 500. Then instead of that 100 value, it will take with now 500. Okay, so you can override them, but they are by default parameters, which are always into picture. Now it has gotten changed. This is an update here. It has gotten changed. By default, n estimators were initially 10. Now they have been updated to what? 100. So it was changed into this particular version of sklearn. Okay, this is your max depth. So what is depth into decision trees, or sorry, random forest? So the tree, how deep you want your tree to be. So max depth is referring to the tree part. So let me show you the tree, then it will help, you will be able to analyze it. Just a minute, I need to just a minute, I need to execute the code, then I will be showing you how do we make the trees part. It will take some time. Yes, that it is controlling the depth in here. How deep you want your tree to be. Let's say if I'm saying 5 depth, then my tree will not grow that deep. If I'm saying 10 depth, then my tree will be obviously having a certain increase into depth value. So depth parameter is also proportional to the performance part. So and also proportional to the time it takes to execute. If my depth is very good, let's say if I'm going for 25 or 40 or 45, depth is very high, so into that case, time taken by the algorithm will be also more. Plus, there are chances your algorithm will perform better because you are allowing the tree to grow much deeper till the point it is not getting any, till the Gini value is not come out to be 0. So this is a code which will display the tree. So it is taking some time, but yeah, max as written here, maximum depth. That how much deep you want your tree to be, how many splits, how till what point you want your tree to be grown. By default, it will go for the complete depth. That's why saying by default it is none. So whatever till the find the Gini value does not comes out to be 0, or till the time there is no pure split happening, then it will just keep on growing. But you can restrict the growth of the tree. Okay. So yeah, it's happening here. So you see, this is the by default tree depth. If I limit it to 5, if I limit this value, so where do I limit it? I will have to specify into this algorithm part. So I will have to specify random forest classifier. So this is depth of 15. So let me show you. I'm making a depth of 5 now. Okay. I will have to execute the code again. And onto this, your results will also be changed. So it is 7. Depth is 5. And now let us plot the tree. If model is overfitting, reducing, yes, reducing depth can also be the right approach. Yes, you are doing the pruning part, you're reducing the depth, you're reducing the number of instances. And you see, this is a depth of 5. Depth 1, depth 2, 3, 4, and 5. You got the point? So this is, I'm just zooming out for a while. You see how the tree has been reduced. And you see now that the Gini values are not 0. Although there is no perfect classification, but the algorithm has given its output, yeah, it is happening at some point. But still, the tree depth is limited now. It is controlled. If I just reduce it to just few furthermore, just 3 in here, definitely my this result will also change. So 71 now and 70, not that change because I think I've taken estimator here random state. Okay. And let us see the depth now into this case. So my tree will be, very small. So this is 1, 2, and 3. This is my root node. Got the point? So depth parameter will control how deep your tree you want to be. Okay. Similarly, it's in here minimum sample split. So as the name suggests, so when you look at the tree, now let me just zoom in. So when you look at the tree, it is telling me that how many samples do you have? You see here. So it is telling me that number of samples at this particular point is 183, it is 115, it is 21. So you can restrict them as well. So minimum samples you want when there is a split happening. So I can control them, I can specify what it will take an integer value. And by default, the default value is 2. So if at least there are two samples also, then there will be a split onto my tree. So by default the value is 2, but you can always increase or decrease them. So by default it is taking, so even if there are two samples, then the split will happen. Okay, minimum number of samples required to split. Okay, this is minimum samples at leaf. What are leaf nodes? So leaf nodes are your decision trees. So by default is 1. So if I increase the tree now, let me increase the tree. Just a minute. Let me increase the depth. Let me make it to back to 15. So this will control how many samples you want to have at leaf node. So this is by default 1. So we'll be able to visualize it for now. So that minimum number of samples required to be at leaf node. So if the sample is only 1, no, by default you just have only 1 sample left, then only make that as a leaf node. If it is more than 1, then it will still further split into other subnodes. So you can also remit this parameter. If I'm saying 10 in here, so when you see this tree now, you see what is the minimum number of samples when it is a decision node. So like this is my decision node. Minimum number of samples required should be at least 1. So I'm having 6 samples here. So this is my decision node. Minimum sample here is 1. So if I increase this 1, if I'm putting 10 here, then this will not be my leaf node because I've increased the threshold. By default it is 1, but then if I'm increasing it to 10, this will also not happen. This will also not happen because now it is not specifying the value. So minimum sample is reached, it will not further split. So yes. So it should have minimum number of that many samples in order to have a further split. If my samples are 12, or if I'm saying that if, just let me just switch to that. So it wants that if there is a leaf node, then minimum these many number of samples should be there. If they are less than that, then if they are more than that, then fine. But if it should not be less than that. Let's say if I'm saying minimum sample leaf, let me show you this. So always know I'll share this code. The best way to understand the parameters is just to put them into your tree and visualize them. Let's say if I'm saying minimum samples, let's say I'm putting 10 in here. Let us see what happens now. It will take some time. Okay, this is minimum weight fraction. By default it is 0, that if you want to initialize certain weights to your classes, let's say you have samples, in case you have a let's say you have highly imbalanced class, then in that case you can assign weights also. You can assign weights. So let's say you have samples, and then there is one category having 10 samples and one category having 90 samples. You have not done oversampling, but in that case you want to give equal importance to them. So you can give higher weight. Let's say I want to multiply, or I want to assign higher importance and then lower importance to that, so that they both are onto the same scale. Okay. So this will allow your samples to have equal weight. Okay. So you can give it in terms of floating values. Examples are also given below if you want to understand how do we give them values. So you see now here, what is the minimum sample? And you see my tree is also not that, the number of leaf nodes have also been reduced. So you see the minimum number of leaf node is what? 12, 10, minimum of 10 are always here. So if it's not than 10, then the node is not getting further. If it is getting less than 10, the split is not happening. So minimum of 10 samples are taken into consideration at every point. You see it here? And not visible here. Yeah. So you can control that how many samples you want. So they are all and there is no hard and fast rule that we should go for a higher number or lower number. This is algorithm tweaking part. You have an understanding what this is referring to. You just tweak the values and you analyze your result. Because every algorithm has so many parameters, so not all are understood. So just you take the value, understand what kind of values are to be given, read the documentation, and then pass on the values. Okay. Then this one is maximum features. So this is, as per the name suggests, that how many features you want to proceed with. By default it is taking auto. And what is auto here? As per auto, maximum feature, let's say if I'm having 12 features, then what it is doing, or let's say let me have a proper square root. So when by default we are selecting auto features, so into auto features what it is looking for? Square root of total number of features. So if my features are let's say 16, then it will take the square root. Okay. You can also specify square root. You can also specify take the log value. That this is the way how your feature should be splitted when looking for the best split. Okay. So different parameters, every parameter is given here. How many leaf nodes you want to have. So grow the tree with these many. So these many nodes should be there. Bootstrap, by default it is true. You can set it false also. And these are your out of bag samples. There are some sort of what this will do is OOB score. See, you have we divide our data into what? We divide our data into train, test, split. We try to validate my data, we train the model onto training data, and we evaluate the model onto testing data. This is what we do. So if you specify an OOB score, then from your training data also it will reserve some data, and this will be taken as your validation data. And then after doing the training part, the random forest will evaluate your model onto this validation data. So it will create out of bag samples, which will be serving as your validation data apart from the testing data. Okay, this is for generalizing the accuracy. Just like we have into grid search CV, sorry, cross validation, that one of the sample is being reserved for testing part and training is done onto the rest one. So the process is different there, but yeah, the concept is same. It will also reserve some of the data as your validation data, and using the trained data, it will evaluate the model which is getting trained onto these out of bag samples. Okay. And n jobs refers to how many processes you want to have into the backend. By default it is none. If you say -1, then all of the computations of your system, all of the cores will be used. So this is referring to the number of jobs with respect to your system configuration. Random state, you already aware. How does it pick up the data? Verbosity, it will control the messages. Like in grid search CV we have, we're able to see what is going into the backend. So verbosity parameter will control those backend messages, that what is happening right now at this moment. Okay. You can also specify class weights. Sorry, that was wrong at that moment. Balanced and balanced subsamples. So just explore these parameters. You'll get ample of examples online. So also into the documentation it is given here. Let's say that I'm having two class, 0 and 1. So For multi-output category, so if you want to assign weights to class 1, so you just have to tweak these parameters. Okay. What is the maximum number of samples you want to have into your data? So number of samples to be taken. So if they are more than that, then don't take them. By default it is none. So it will take x shape 0. What will x shape 0 take into consideration? When I'm saying x dot shape, what it is referring to? Number of rows. Okay. So it will take all the rows into consideration, all the features. You can also specify a particular value or you can specify some things like that. So everything is given here, what is accepted, what is not accepted. Okay. So when you scroll down, examples are also given. Let's say I want to have onto this apply path, or let's say on to predict proba. So, we have proper documentation and also multiple websites you can always look around if you want to. Let's say if I want to have an understanding, much better understanding for some of the parameters onto which we feel confused. So just always know we have couple of blogs, so they really help you out. Let's say if let's say this is a good blog, and towards data science is also very good blog, so always refer to these kind of blogs, they really help you out. And also QA, and you just google them, because end of the day nothing is, just have to explore as per all of your what is needed at that time, you just have to understand. Yeah, class weights, where is that gone? Yeah. So both the classes are supposed to have weight 1, but we can increase it in decrease also. Let's say for this only you have a question, although it's given in here, but yeah, if you don't have the balanced subsamples, so if you say that if you don't have class balanced, then you can say balanced subsamples, or you can define your own dictionary as well. That okay, for my class 0, I want to assign a weight of 1, and for my class 1, I want to assign a weight of 5. Things like this. Although restricted here, very good, restricted here as well. If I show in onto this one. Yeah, they are all tweaking part, Anusha. You will have to tweak them, and then only you get the understanding part. We have different couple of blogs, although onto them also everything is not explained. But yeah, the best is try to always refer to the documentation. If you're not still able to understand it, then always, take help of multiple blogs and pages. They have couple of examples given. But yeah, you have to really look around, because uh, every time you won't find everything given on one single page. Although they have also copy pasted from the documentation part. And see, everything is not explained here as well. So you will not find everything on every blog. So you just have to look around. And the best is always refer to the documentation. They give you an example, and do the try part and see how the values are getting changed. And once you see once or twice or n number of time, you put up a value, and then you get to understand, okay, this value is impacting in this way. You did cross validation on algorithm, but can you show it for? Yes, it is here. Cross validation. Just let me zoom out. I've implemented using grid search CV. I've implemented using grid search CV here. Here, as I've taken the parameter as 6. I've not done separate implementation. Okay, so it's 9:21. Let's have a break of 10 minutes, and we shall resume after that. Okay, so we shall resume at 9:31. Yeah, I'm just putting a note here also only. Is everyone here? Hanji, Anshul, Anusha, Naveen, Saurabh. Okay, let us start. Okay, so I hope random forest कैसे काम करता है? Is it clear to you? How do we? Because this is the rest of the same process. Dot fit, dot predict, accuracy score. ये बाकी सब same है. Is it clear to you? And if I wanted to apply a regressor, not regressor will not come into the picture क्योंकि it does not make any sense to put quality into regressor. But one thing I would like to show in here, अगर हम quality को make it as my categorical data. Sorry, अगर जैसे I'm in the log reg, we know important features by coefficient, logistic regression. Okay, in random forest, how do we know? We have random feature, we have important feature importance. Just a minute, let me show. You call this value feature importance, and then you get to know. So if I'm calling this as, let's say, coming back onto the code, so feature importance will give you your answer. So let's say RFC is my algorithm dot and feature importance. Let me copy it from here. These are your important features. These are the respective values. And how do you map them? How do you map them? So you can just simply say X train dot columns. They'll be onto the same order. And let us just map all these values. Yeah. And also by feature names, or let's say, no, it is into random forest. Okay. So let's say, let me just zip them. You make a data frame out of it. So these are the feature importance. Fixed acidity, and let's say I just want to sort them. Or you can make it into data frame and sort the columns basis. So you can get it done this way. So alcohol is the most important feature. Second one is the chlorides one, then citric acid, and the least important, is it sorted? I don't think so. It is sorted. 0.10. No, it's not sorted. Okay, let me do one thing in here. Let me just put these values in. Yeah. Yeah, using data frame. I don't want to make a data frame at this moment. Just make it to data frame, it will help out. So df dot sort values win into data frame will help. Or let's say if I wanted to make let me put it onto a dictionary part. So this will come out to be your data frame, and then you can sort the values. And we can set ascending or descending false. So this is into increasing order. Okay. So I've gotten the most important feature at the top now. This is the most important feature, followed by sulfate, followed by volatile acidity, and the least important one is residual sugar. So this will help out. Yeah. Okay. So any confusions into and one more thing I wanted to show here is that if, and although this is regression, so not to make any, we're not doing regression here, but if you wanted to apply regression using random forest regressor, you'll be using this code. If you have your target in terms of continuous values, okay, then you'll be executing this code. And this is how many estimators when I'm doing here rf underscore c estimator, it is giving me decision tree number 0 because into and decision tree classifier. Let me visualize it. So this is my decision tree number 0, and this is the configuration for that decision tree number 0. So like this, I'm having how many decision trees into my random forest? 50. So when I'm visualizing this tree here, I'm visualizing the very first decision tree. You see here, this is the very first decision tree I'm visualizing. So similarly, if I say 49 in here, then that will be my 49th decision tree, and I can visualize the last tree also. So this is my last tree, 49. The 49th decision tree will be getting plotted because this is one individual decision tree which is into your random forest classifier. Similarly, you can also, it's the same process flow. Just use your algorithm. This is my decision tree number 49. Why is it not showing me the nodes and the this part? Maybe there is an update into the library or something. I'm not getting the proper, link up. Okay, so this is my regular decision tree. Regular fit predict the same process will happen in here. Why do we use DT classifier when? No, we don't use DT. You will not find people using DT. I'm just showing how do you use it if you want to. Otherwise, we don't use it DT. We always go for random forest because that is an ensemble. Obviously, it performs much better. So standalone DT is not there. But yeah, you can have a plot onto DT as well. So same code will execute. You just have to follow the same process flow, and you see the results how much they are varying. This is a code for decision tree regressor if you want to. Okay, do you have any questions into random forest and decision trees? Any of the point, either into coding part, either into parameters or algorithm working? Any questions to ask? This is the decision tree. This is a standalone decision trees, and we only use this one. Yeah, try onto the data sets which I've shared. Onto them you have much more, there is a huge variation into those data set, different kind of values, good amount of features. So use onto those data set. It will give you much more clear hands-on. Saurabh and Anshul, are you clear? Naveen, are you clear with the concept? Okay. So just do the hands-on part. Even if one score is high, should we consider recall? See, Anusha, like, okay, let me give you a scenario. This will really help you. For example, you are looking for Walmart data. Okay. And also let me show you, just a minute. Uh, uh, um, oh, theft. Okay. So this will really give you an insight that what kind of things you should consider. So they are all specific to business problem. Let's say if this was the business problem which you have to solve and you have to help Walmart in order to identify what, in order to identify potential theft which is happening, uh, and it is to be tracked onto the checkout lanes. So here, what thing is important? So end of the day, we are there to help the business problem. So business should not be harmed. So into this case, what will be important for you? Which evaluation metrics will be important for you? Everyone, I want answers from all. Where you have to check out your customers that is there any possible theft happening or not. So you will make a model, theft happening, right or no. Let's say you are making a classification model. So into this scenario, which evaluation matrices you will consider in this scenario? Right or wrong, give me whatever is your opinion about this. Naveen, what do you think? What should be taken into consideration here? Anusha says recall. So we have recall for both yes and no. You have both of them, yes and no. So which one would you like to have? For yes or no? Recall comes out to be, or you will go for the aggregated one. Okay, you say this one. What about you, Naveen? Tell me what is your opinion about this? Okay. So when I'm saying recall of yes, what does this mean? What does this mean? That there was a theft occurring and the algorithm was able to identify, right? So this is not important here. What are scenarios do we have? We have TP, we have TN, we have FP, and we have FN, right? What is FP and FN? Although TP and TN are the correct scenarios, we always want them to happen. We always want them to be high. So assuming, because there will be some sort of error, but you don't want some things to not to happen. What is false positive into this case? What do you mean by false positive? When there was no theft happening, but the algorithm told that theft is happening, right? So this will hamper your good customers. Yes, this will hamper your good customers, and Walmart being such a retail giant don't want that to happen. Although we can afford such kind of false negative that okay, at times I'm okay that if I'm still not able to identify the theft happening, but still I want my customer base to be happy, right? Or wrong? So into this scenario, you will go for false. You will not go for recall. You will not go for precision. You will not go for F1 score. You would specifically look for false positive value, because as per this business, as per Walmart, as per e-client business, you don't want to lose your customers, and specifically good customers which are not doing the theft but they have been accused. And if you reach out to them, then definitely they'll not be happy about that fact. Yeah, so into this, for them, brand value is important, for them, customer base is important. They can afford the false negative part. They can afford some customers who are doing the theft, but they don't want to lose the good customers, right? So it is dependent upon business to business. There is no hard and fast rule. No, not necessary that if a small business opposite might be true, because whenever there is a business, whenever you start a business, you will always want to have a good customer base. You are happy to accept, and that depends upon business strategies and their principles as well. But on a general note speaking, what do they want is a good customer base. Yes, customer is god as per every business. They are happy if they have some losses, but they eventually want to have a good customer which is loyal to them and which just sticks to them, right? So these things change with respect to your business problem, which business problem you are solving. Got the point now? So there is no hard and fast rule that will not go for precision, will not go for recall. You have to look what is the business problem, and as per that, what things are important for this business. So here, if talking about this, so I don't want my if I even if I made a model, I don't want any false positive to happen. I'm okay if there are false negative, but I don't want them to happen, right? So it depends. It depends what problem you are solving. So, but yeah, on a general note, we go for recall. We go for F1 score. So if I'm looking only for false positive, the less in number, and my false negative are very high in number. So definitely I don't want that also to happen. Because obviously theft is happening even if my customers are happy, but good amount of theft is happening. So I don't want that also to happen, right? I don't want to lose my good customers. Plus, I don't want, let's say this is only given me that 5 customers are false positive and 50 are false negative. So I don't want this scenario also to happen, right? Because eventually I want to catch them as well. So recall and F1 score will be taken into consideration. So end of the day, you go for recall and F1 score, but yeah, you go for individual values also like this. Got the point, Anusha? And rest of you also. In mind data, what matters? Recall or precision? Okay. See, this is as per this data, this is a very general data, and we're just predicting the wine quality, good or bad. So, into realistic scenario, it is not just we who decide. We have stakeholders, we have people who run that business who have given the problem statement to us. So it's a they tell us, you will find it online also into multiple competition. They tell what do they want. So onto 99% of the time, we are asked that they want the result on the basis of, let's say, if Walmart was the client, he would specifically say that I want FN or FP or FP or FN or what I want. So they are already told, we are already told all times the what, because as per their scenario, they would look okay, no, because as I've given the scenario that just a minute, that if my false positive are just 5 and false negative are 50. So Walmart will definitely don't want this scenario also. So they will put up a threshold that, okay, I am good till the count of 25 in case of false negative. But if it goes more than that, then I'm not going to accept it. Right? So you have clear cut picture in front of you that what is wanted, do and for false positive they'll say that, okay, for false positive I don't want the value to be more than 5, so my maximum value should be 5, and for false negative the minimum should be this one, or the maximum, whatever the scenario is. So you are already given clear cut that I am okay with this, below this or more than that I am not going to accept it. And I want result in terms of FP, FN, precision, that is all what you are told. When you start a project, they tell you, because business is theirs, right? So they have to see what they can accommodate and how do they accommodate it. Okay. Or how do we handle imbalanced data, and in what scenarios do we need it? Do we do it or need it? Imbalance class, for example, if you talk about a let's say bank problem, defaulters or card defaulters or loan defaulters. So generally there will be always an imbalance class happening in here. Let's say I'm talking about loan defaulters. If I'm having, let's say, 1,000 people who are into the branch, look, he has taken loan. So out of 1,000, only very few, maybe 50 or 60, or just putting a number, let's say only 10% people will be defaulting the loan and 90% will be on to the time, right? So here you have an imbalance class problem. So you have to look, if your model is not performing, you eventually try with original data. But still, if your model and you perform that scaling part and still the model is not able to capture, then at end of the day, you have to come up with sampling. So you have scenarios where, into realistic scenarios, these things happen. Let's say if a new product is getting launched, then into that scenario, only very few people will be likely buying that product because this is just a new entry into the market, and 90% will be going for the previous old uh, uh, who are into the market. So it depends. If with scaling FN score is good enough, do we handle? No. If our results are good enough, if our results are, so we'll compare them. Eventually, we'll not put a line that, okay, if my F1 score with scaling is, let's say, 90 or 95, I will not put a line here. I will not put a line. I will also try, because end of the day, what we want is customer satisfaction. How far we can go with good result. So we'll also try with class imbalance. And let's say maybe in class imbalance, I'm getting result of, let's say, 81 or maybe 91, or maybe I go for 98 as well. Then definitely this is bringing me onto the winning position, because we want to be more accurate about the predictions, right? So either with class imbalance, or sorry, either with sampling or with uh, normalization, whatever approach, end of the day is what we want is good result. So you try n number of things, and then which one is giving you the best output, you go for that approach. So you try all things, whatever you feel can puts logic into is logical using onto this data. So there is uh, no hard and fast rule that if you get 95, then you should be satisfied. This, no, you should always try to increase that is when comes in parameter tuning. For example, with base parameter you've got 95, so you, as per, you are very happy, I've got 95, like, in what if you do the parameter tweaking part and you might land up into 97 or 98. So it just always try a number of things and just try to improve the result. Then after a time you get to know कि ये 10 चीजें try कर लिए फिर भी result improve नहीं हो रहा, it means this is what the best is as per my model. Okay, so वो आपने check करना पड़ता है बार बार with different settings of parameter values. Okay, any questions to ask anyone? Do you have any questions to ask? I'll share this notebook over the mail. So just go through it. If you have any questions to ask, just go through it. Okay? What will be covering into the next class? Next class, hopefully आज pipeline करना था. Pipelining, we'll do pipelining. This is easy and important. It is very efficient. आपका जो 15 लाइन का कोड है 2 लाइन में या 4 लाइन में फिनिश हो जाता है with pipelining. And what else are we left with? Which algorithm are we left with? When we can start a project for resume, you can start. See, right now you have आपके multiple कौन से algorithm cover हो चुकी हैं. You have done SVM, you have done clustering, and you have done DT, you have done random forest, you have done KNN. Couple of algorithms have been covered. आपका रहता क्या है? Time series, logistic regression, and linear regression, and maybe naive Bayes. एंड सैम्पलिंग ये ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेगा, इट्स इजी. ये चीजें रहती है. सो यू आर डन विद मेजर ऑफ द एल्गोरिथम्स. लॉजिस्टिकल लीनियर रिग्रेशन नॉट नो, कपल ऑफ एल्गोरिथम्स आपके यहाँ पे केटर हो चुके हैं. सो जो मैंने डेटा सेट शेयर किए हैं, जो हमने क्लास में किए हैं, यू कैन कम विद देम. ऑल्दो इनका प्रोसेस फ्लो सेम है, आपने अप्लाई भी किया, यू कैन यूज लॉजिस्टिक लीनियर रिग्रेशन. अंडरस्टैंडिंग विल टेक केयर ऑफ देम, बट या यू कैन स्टिल राइट थिंग्स ऑन टू योर रिज्यूमे. आपने अच्छे से पांडास किया हुआ है, आपने अच्छे से नमपाई किया हुआ है, यू हैव डन कपल ऑफ थिंग्स विद गुड हैंड्स ऑन. हाउ डू वी चूज प्रोजेक्ट्स फ्रॉम कैगल? आई वुड से गो फॉर नॉट कॉमन वंस. अगर आपने रेज्यूमे में लिखना है, गो फॉर विच आर नॉट दैट कॉमन, बिकॉज कॉमन वाले विल बी टेकन बाय एवरीवन. सो यू नो दे आर इजीली आइडेंटिफाइड कि ये तो दिस इज इजीली अवेलेबल, सोल्यूशन इसके इजीली अवेलेबल होते हैं. सो गो फॉर द नॉन कॉमन वंस. So do an end-to-end execution and then choose them. या फिर Kaggle पे नहीं मिल रहा तो go to onto the UCI repository. ये मैंने आपसे डेटा सेट शेयर किया, उनमें से कोई चूज करके and do an end-to-end execution like that. ठीक है? Please come up with a suggestion because all Kaggle projects are almost on internet. हाँ जी, Kaggle है तो obviously you will have a solution. See, onto this, I would say, see, again, there is no right approach. Just like solving a problem, you can come up with a different solution. I can come up with a different solution. What matters end of the day is your result. So whosoever is giving me much better result, what approach is being used, that is giving me the best result. Okay, so that approach is taken into consideration. So there is no proper right way to solve a thing until unless your results are best. Whatever approach you have used is good one. Got that point? Okay. Just you got to know how the process flows. You got to know how do we do the data cleaning part, how do we do visualization. You have learned couple of things, good amount of things you have learned. So implement all of them onto your data and come up with your own solution. If you're stuck somewhere, just take help of your learnings from online or from the classes and then solve the problem. Okay. If it is also available online, just don't cheat, just have a look how you can solve it as per your knowledge. And just grab things online. If you find something new, grab it, learn it, and also implement it. Okay. Any questions to ask? Now I'm able to implement things we learned before, but wanted to start a project so that we can improve it over time. Uh, See, for this, Anusha, we can take one into class. हम ले सकते हैं क्लास में. जैसे आपने मुझे शेयर किया, आई लुक ऑन टू दैट. आपने मुझसे शेयर किया ना, आई लुक ऑन टू दैट क्लास एंड इफ समथिंग उसमें आई फाइंड यू नो वी कैन हैव बेटर अप्रोचेस, आई टेक दैट इनटू क्लास एज वेल. इज दैट फाइन? आपने यू शेयर द सॉल्यूशन, आई थिंक, जो आपने मुझे कल सेंड किया था. ओके. Syntax direction. I've shared one doc file, steps for model making. I've already shared. Yeah, I've shared one doc file, steps for model making. And again, as I told you, uh, there is a process flow, लेकिन उस process flow में कुछ चीजें ऊपर नीचे हो जाती हैं. There is no hard and fast rule कि जैसे for example talking about कि data clean करने से पहले EDA करना है, data clean करने के बाद EDA करना है. Very general question. So it's up to you. आप data को visualize with outliers या without outliers कैसे करना है. Yeah. Okay. तो चलो फिर ठीक है. We are winding up the session. Yeah, ठीक है. Okay, Karan. So we are winding up the session. Yeah, look onto this file, Anusha. I've shared a file onto Gmail. Look onto this file, steps for model making. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Just winding up the session, and see you next week, guys. Okay. Thank you so much, and have a great week ahead. Thank you. Thank you.